Okay. I don't know. I hope that settings. Which one is this toner? Okay. Great. This is how I want it to be. Great. Okay. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Okay. So first let me take a sip of this. All right. So, okay. I had a really long day at work. It was long, but it was also good. Lots of things got done. Nothing was bad about it. But I got home to my kids. I did their homework with them, spent some time with them. We had dinner, books, all that stuff. Got them to bed. And I was like, I am taking a break. I want some time to myself. I wanted to scroll through Facebook and get on Reddit. And also I always do my YouTube videos, to look at what everybody's posting. And I could not believe what I saw on Reddit about what's going on with Josh Duggar. And I'm going to share some of it here with you now. All right, guys. So I've got some wine for you. See, it's nighttime here. It's probably morning where you are. Grab some coffee. Or if you're watching this at night, grab some wine because we're in for a doozy. Okay. So I just can't believe what people are up to. I just can't believe what people are up to on Reddit these days. All right. So the first thing I want to show you is, all right, I'm going to go to my channel because I want to check out a video I did about Josh Duggar being at Texarkana Seagoville prison.
First day in federal prison, getting to your bunk area, meeting your cellmate, how that looks. First impressions do matter.
Former reality TV star and convicted felon Josh Duggar is now in federal prison in Texas.
Did you see the Duggar? We're amongst another pro Tomo. I am going to get his autograph. I am.
Welcome, friends. It's nighttime here, and I'm here to talk about the fact that Josh Duggar has officially been moved to FCI Seagoville in Seagoville, Texas. Okay, friends, so if you get a chance, check out that video. It talks a lot about Seagoville. It has pictures and video of the prison itself, where Josh is going to live, and information about what his stay there is likely to be like. And the research I did for that video was really interesting for me. So check it out if you get a chance. But as of right now, Josh Duggar is staying at Seagoville Prison. And we all know that it's likely Anna Duggar is visiting him. She's been staying down in the area, hanging out with her sister Priscilla. And as far as we know, she's still completely dedicated to being there for Josh and being a good prison wife for him. Okay, friends. So whenever I want to find out more about what's going on with Josh Duggar or Sister Wives, I head straight to Reddit because I find some of the most interesting stuff on there. And this is what one of the posters had to say about 20 hours ago. So allegedly, there are several snarkers on one of the Reddit groups who are talking about trying to catfish Josh Duggar in prison as pen pals. And this Redditor writes, the snarkers planning to catfish Josh Duggar as prison pen pals aren't doing this to own the Duggars. I genuinely believe some of these posters are so obsessed that they're coming up with excuses to actually have relationships with fundies while pretending it would be so funny to see what Josh says if they fell in love. This is how I ran my life in 6th grade, and this is also the inevitable conclusion to how unhinged the snark has gotten over the last 2 years. Unreal. I'm sure you guys agree. Okay, so I'm going to tell you straight off. It's been put out there where Josh Duggar is located and what his inmate number is. And with that information, you're able to find out how you can write him letters in prison. Inmate number 42501-509. Josh Duggar's new life in Seagoville Prison. On June 27th, former reality TV star Josh Duggar, 34, was transferred to FCI Seacoville in Texas to begin serving his 151-month sentence following his conviction on CP charges. Duggar's incarceration in the Federal Correctional Institute comes with many restrictions and rules. FCI Seacoville has a 59-page admissions and orientation information handbook that was given to Josh. Strict compliance with the rules and regulations is an essential part of exhibiting the responsible behavior required at the institution. The new inmate manual explains that the admission and orientation is completed over the course of the first week that the inmate is there, and they have a mandatory schedule provided by the prison. All inmates receive a permanent building assignment. So at first he was housed like in a temporary area, but by now he's received his permanent assignment. All inmates will have a work assignment, and they are required to work, the manual states. Work assignments in various departments are made by a committee and based on the needs of the institution. He can do things like work in facility, food service, and have a business office that have a business office that has different positions. And work is also available in something called the Federal Prison Industries. I think that's where they make different things like chairs. They also have a textile factory that he can work in. And starting pay for these positions, they do get paid, is 23 cents per hour. And there's a waiting list for these jobs, and they're required to interview for the positions. And inmates are encouraged to save their funds for release from federal custody. Of course, Josh, he's definitely banking on his family having money for him when he gets out. Inmates are issued 300 minutes per month of phone time, and telephone usage is limited to 15 minutes per call with a limited hours of it. And you have limited hours of availability to use the phone. The manual lets everyone know, and I do wonder if this would ever come back to haunt Josh. I could see him trying to sneak a phone in. The manual states that the unauthorized possession, manufacture, or introduction of electronic items and components of electronic items such as MP3 players, cell phones, and chargers, that's all prohibited. And if he brings that in, he can add a lot of time to his sentence. There's also SA prevention and SI prevention programs at the prison, and those are explained in depth in the admissions process, and psychological services are available to the inmates. This is really important. The Walsh Act, passed by Congress in 2006, requires all inmates with a history of S offenses to be reviewed and evaluated prior to release. And based on that evaluation, those who are at high risk of committing new offenses will be subject to civil commitment after their current sentence expires. So he really needs to show that he's made some progress and that things have changed with him before he leaves. Okay, so then getting back to the Reddit pen pal post where several users were talking about how there were snarkers on several Reddit sites wanting to contact Josh as a pen pal and see if they could kind of mislead him and get some letters back and forth from him. I started hopping around to the different Reddit sites and I found this. Okay, so this was one of the recent posts on one of the Reddit snarking groups, and it's talking about how Josh and Anna had a recent anniversary. I believe it was 2 days ago. It says, "Happy first jailhouse anniversary to Josh and Anna. You've spent the last 14 years with a bad person, and you'll spend another 12 visiting him in jail. Congratulations." It's very sad for Anna, but I think for people who feel like Josh really snowed everyone over and still is kind of trying to snow everybody over, they're mad at Anna, they're frustrated with everything that's going on, I can understand why they want to be able to snark about it, for sure. Unfortunately, a couple of days ago, Anna was probably with him celebrating their anniversary through some kind of prison plexiglass, or at least on the phone. I want to talk a little bit about what people had to say on this Reddit post. So several of the responders were saying things like, "I'll never get the image out of my head of their photo shoot the next day," this is the day after they got married, "when she looked dead behind the eyes. Her parents knowingly sold their uneducated daughter to a SA offender. As much as I don't condone her keeping her kids around this person, I just can't forget that. Some of this is really hard to hear because it talks about serious issues, and sometimes it's in that kind of snarky way. So I completely understand this is a warning. If you don't want to hear what people had to say on this Reddit page, please go ahead and click off of the video. But I like to read through it. I like to know what people's opinions are and kind of compile my own judgments based upon a lot of different information. Another user says, Lord Daniel knows I have some problems with present day Anna, but 20-year-old Anna wasn't just left to the wolves. She was served up to one particular wolf on a platter and told to be grateful for it. And I think that is one of the best lines I've heard to describe what in many ways happened to Anna. I don't necessarily believe that her parents knew for sure what they were getting into. I absolutely don't believe they knew for sure what they were getting into. Until I find out differently, I believe that Anna's parents really cared about her and wanted her to have a good life. And they didn't have a lot of money and they didn't have a lot of education. And to them, the Duggar family was like a miracle. And giving their daughter to one of the Duggar sons was supposed to be like a happy ending for her. But the main reason I wanted to read part of this posting to you is because there were a lot of people on Reddit commenting on how they want to try to write to Josh Duggar in prison and catfish him, get him to believe that they're a young, attractive girl, and see what he has to say to them. Okay, so we're starting with this Reddit post on Duggar's Snark, where a poster writes a question to everyone. Do you think Josh likes Anna visiting him? And the poster responds to himself, I'm thinking he only wants her showing up to have a little dominance and control, whatever he has left in his life right now. I don't think he actually cares about seeing her or updates on the family. I would agree with this. I think he needs to know that he is still in charge of Anna, and this is like basically what he has left while being in prison. He has a little bit of influence left over, probably some of his family and a little bit of the church, but he's not in a place of very much power right now, and having Anna around reminds him that he at least has something left. But whether or not he really cares about the kids and the rest of his family, I can't imagine, based upon the way that he acted over the past 10 to 15 years. I have a hard time believing he really cares deeply for his children. Okay, so this is when people start getting into talking about the possibility of pen pals. So we have someone respond. He probably likes anyone who's going to inflate his ego during the visit. He's certainly not going to get that from any of the prison staff. The fact that it's Anna probably doesn't matter that much to him, though. Little Bunny responds, he wants to feel wanted by somebody and to have someone see him in prison, but it's about fulfilling his warped, self-serving emotional needs. It's not about Anna's feelings. His creepy pen pals serve the same purpose, but they're not seeing him face to face. Even gross humans have an innate need for physical closeness, even if they can't touch much. In Josh's case, it's an inmate need. People go on to state, we don't really know for sure how many pen pals he has, but most high-profile criminals do. The number of women who fawn over the likes of Chris Watts is astounding. Josh probably has at least a few fangirls, writing him letters smacking of obsession, and I don't doubt this. And then some of the snarkers started writing. Honestly, if I had the time for that, I would write him just to see if he hits on me. Oh my gosh, we should be called Joshy girls. It makes me snort. Guaranteed, he's got dozens of women writing him love letters. Every high-profile criminal gets them, and there are some very sick people out there. Okay, and then we had this responder who I thought was really interesting because he wrote, I do criminal defense work. I'm a public defender, so I meet with more inmates than the average person. Some people just want someone to talk to, kind of regardless of who it is. I've had clients say things like, how long will will they let me talk to you? And not just about their case, but about anything. When someone expresses an interest in something like that, I usually ask people to let me get information for them out first. Let me figure out what they want to do, and then whatever, over the last 30 minutes, whatever the jail gives me, we can talk about whatever they'd like. I know some people would see that as a waste of time, but I see it as a small token of my humanity to another person who's having a hard time, and it also builds client confidence, which is important. Other people care. Other people don't care to talk to me beyond what they need. They just want to check off the boxes with me and then get back to their behind bars existence. It's usually people who are acclimated. They've spent plenty of time there before, who are more like this. I respect that people don't want to take up my time when they don't need to, and usually just remind them they can call me if they have questions. My guess is he still might be in the first case situation where he feels the need to talk to anyone quote unquote normal. But over time, he will likely adjust to the situation and either make friends or figure out what he likes to do to keep his head down and pass the time. But he might still be interested in having Anna visit because it's a visit period. I had a client in prison want to take his case to trial because he thought it would be nice to spend a few days in a different facility just to change things up. I have a guy who's a convicted murderer who wants his misdemeanor case dismissed, but is willing to go to trial because he has nothing to lose by fighting, and it makes the state burn a day of trial on his dumb case. These are examples to illustrate that for some people, even if they're acclimated, prison gets boring, and really anything new, different is fun because it's novel and it's a break from the same old, same old. A lot of snarkers are questioning if it's ever going to hit Anna and that she'll wake up and leave because after years, it's got to be really hard for her to keep going to the prison to see him. So throughout Reddit, there are multiple snarkers and responders talking about how they would be interested in catfishing Josh Duggar. If you don't know what catfishing means it's basically pretending to be someone who's interested in him through mail, maybe even sending fake pictures of a really attractive young girl and trying to get his attention and have him write back and forth to you. Have any of you ever written to a prisoner? I was really surprised when I was in college. I found out that a close friend who was studying supposedly to go to law school, this was an undergraduate degree, but she said she wanted to go to law school, had started writing to prisoners in like some class that she had, and then she became very involved with one specific prisoner and had continued a relationship with him, constantly writing back and forth with him. She was showing me some of the letters like it was totally normal. And it was very odd for me. Of course, I'm looking at it like this guy is manipulating you. And she did show me that some of the letters were like talking about how he's innocent and he was railroaded. And I guess I'm just very suspicious about things like that. Although I wasn't someone who was super suspicious of Josh Duggar in the first place. So I could be wrong on so many levels about so many things. But there are definitely a large group of women who enjoy the specific attention that they get from writing back and forth with an inmate and even visiting them or having a real life relationship with those that can actually meet in person. Not everyone can do that. I'm sure many of you are aware of the Scott Peterson case, and you know, he was found guilty of killing his wife, Lacey Peterson. Some people are questioning that now. But that guy was really full of himself. Reminded me a lot of Josh Duggar. And I can't even tell you, there's all kinds of letters out there that he's written back and forth with all of these women who are crazy about him. So guys, then after I was reading about Josh Duggar, like potentially having all of these pen pals, I was wanting to research, like, how does this happen? What's going on here? I don't know like that much about it. I know that people do have prison pen pals, but I kept thinking, like, I wonder if it's gotten so much easier because of the internet. Obviously it has. So I started cruising around Reddit and TikTok and Instagram, and I couldn't believe what I found. It's like there's so many websites, just like, I mean, Josh Duggar is already probably familiar with all these websites, all of his inappropriate time on the computer. But there's all these websites dedicated to helping inmates find pen pals and people who want to be pen pals with inmates, like so that they can find the love of their life in prison. I mean, I was like, wow, have you ever like been a pen pal with someone in prison? Tell me about it. I want to know. Like, I would love to like speak directly to you. So let me share with you some of what I was finding on the good old internet, like not even the dark web, guys. I don't know how to get on the dark web, so let's just go to one of my favorite places, TikTok. So I want to share with you some like crazy stuff. Yeah.
What's up? My name's Ryan. I'm 26. I'm single with no kids. I'm looking for friends and somebody I can have a conversation with. I'm looking forward to meeting some of y'all. Send me some replies back. Thank you.
How do you respond to that? So is this something that people just put on TikTok? But it's like, maybe it's from an actual website. Oh my God. So people are responding. They're like, thanks for the kiss, Ryan. Now my life's mission is to break you out. How can I get in contact? Let's see what people say. Not you here. JPay. Oh yeah, you can go to this. JPay is like something that you that's how you send like money to people in prison, right? And you call them or something. I love this person. Allie says, Mama, I'm in love with a criminal. All right, let's see the next one. Wait, is it like she's in love with all three of them? I hope it's just the middle guy. I think it's just the middle guy, but all of them are like looking for love. Aw, that's like when they have a phone conversation. Wow. Hey, beautiful. I guess you get like a lot of one-on-one. So I guess it's like you would get a lot of one-on-one affection and attention from these guys, right? And that's kind of the draw to it. Honestly, when I think about it, like right now, my life is so busy and I do love my husband, but if he was like locked up in prison, I mean, it would be okay for me. Like, I could go visit him and, you know, I love him and stuff, but it's like also sometimes he really gets on my nerves. Can anyone feel me with that? Like, I've got 2 kids that I'm really busy with, but I don't want him in prison because I still need him to help out financially. Art from my prison pen pal. What is this? Wow. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, no one's ever done anything like that for me. Maybe I need a prison pen pal, you know? Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. That's really good. Yep. I want to say, you know, there are lots of good people who are in prison. I'm not talking down to that. I'm just surprised that prison pen pals are a thing. You know, you can't deny that that's kind of surprising. So, you know, as I was looking all of this up, I started to imagine Josh Duggar with his potential prison pen pals. I have to tell you, I have 0 plans to write to Josh Duggar or anyone else in prison. But if a letter to and from Josh Duggar is ever released on Reddit or anywhere else, I will be very interested in reading it and finding out what he had to say from his jail cell. There's no end to how crazy and interesting it can be. Witness the ways in which a person like Josh Duggar spends all his time continuing to try to fool himself and fool everyone around him. Okay guys, thanks for joining me tonight down this crazy, confusing rabbit hole. No fresh evidence about whether or not Josh Duggar has some specific pen pals at Seagoville, but I am interested in seeing if anything comes forward in the future from some of these catfishes. I hope you have a great night and take some time to head down your own rabbit hole.